Hello guys, Saurabh on this side, back again with new tutorial video. In this video, we are going to deal with some of the links, some of the URLs, and we'll try to load some web content in our Flutter application. So let's start the video. So guys, I make a new Flutter project so that I don't have to write the code from the scratch. And here, after creating the project, I just write the basic code in main.dart, just like running run app and calling the stateless widget containing material app and two parameter debug so check banner mode false title dummy title and giving the home and calling that entity root from that void main with run app. And here in that main screen I don't do any of the special things. I just make a full screen container having the full screen width and height and having a significance of pace from horizontal and vertically, and change the status and navigation bar color. Okay, so that's the simple thing. If you follow the last couple of videos in that series, you can continue from that last project. That will be totally fine. Or if you want to continue from a new project, make a new project in Flutter. Before writing any code, we have to install some of the packages in our app so that we can deal with the links and URLs and load the web content in our Flutter application. So first terminate the project, because after installing that packages we need to restart the project, so it's better to terminate as of now. So the first package we are going to install in our application is URL launcher, and it is available on the pub.dev. So just copy that line, go to the prospect.yaml, here under the dependencies section, paste it here. So after that URL launcher, what you have to do, you have to go to the WebView Flutter. So that will be actually used for the loading web content in our Flutter application. Okay, so that Flutter PubGet is already running, but we don't do Flutter PubGet as of now. We have to first configure our code from the Android manifest.xml and more of the things. So let's do it. So for that URL launcher, what we have to do, for the iOS we have to do that configuration in the info.plist file. So let's see where the info.plist file. So under that iOS folder and under that runner info.plist, and here okay, let's keep it as it is because that formatter is not installed as well. And after that you have to do the configuration for the Android as well. So what we have to do, we have to go to the Android app source main Android manifest.xml, and here just before the application tab you have to write that queries and all of that stuff. In the WebView Flutter, if we go to the through the readme file, they are telling that the mean SDK version is should be 19. So let's see the mean SDK version. I think that will be located in the app level build.gradle. So in the app level build.gradle we use the minimum SDK version 24, so that will not create a problem, and there is no other of configuration is left. So okay, so let's just close all of the open files and run our favorite command to install the package, that is Flutter PubGet. So that package is installed in our device. Now we have to run the project, and that will be take up time because that package related Gradle configuration will be getting installed during our during the run of the project. So running the project will take a time. I just close that existing open one, so I run the command to run the app in our mobile device. So guys, our project is run already, and what we have to do, we have to go to the library, and under that main screen.dart, what we have to do, in the last couple of videos you see about the text widget, so that we can show a text in our Flutter app screen. But now in this app, what we are going to do, we are not showing a text that is hard coded. We can write text manually in our Flutter app. So from that video we are going to do that, and for writing that text by the user in the app we use a special widget. So let's see what is that. So here what I have to do, under that child I make a column here, and under that column I make a children here. Under that children I make a height of 150 and giving the width of it. So media query context size width text field, okay, or betterly to say text form field. The 2 is already available. The text form field has the benefit over the text field in some of the cases. So I will show you when we make email and password authentication, so that time that text form field will be very much useful. So by default I prefer to choose with text form field. You can go through that text field, that will be totally fine. The most of the properties under that to widget is common, so don't worry. So under that will be show a text form field. So let's make a hot reload. So by default that kind of text field will show, and here you can write just like if I write hello. Okay, but that's not looking cool, so let's make it somewhat cool so that it will be very much aligned with our app. So alignment dot bottom center, and if I make a hot reload here. Okay, now we have to make some design of the text form field so that it will be looking good. So I give here decoration and give here input decoration. Now in the text form field, if I give that cursor color black, I have to give the hint text here. So if I give the hint text, you will be getting to understand that, so I don't have to tell you separately. Write link here. Before the hot reload, if I make a hint text style, so here the normal text style will be good. So font size will be around 16 and color will be colors dot black 54. So if I make a hot reload here, you can see that the hint text is already arriving. We don't go deeply about the text form field different properties in this video, because in the upcoming videos we will see it briefly, so don't worry. Even eventually when we make project, we will make the beautiful text field so that it will be looking very much cool. So as of now, that's the basic of the text form fields. Is okay, because our objective is not making any cool text form field in this video. Okay, I want to just wrap that text form field with row, and here under that row we have to wrap that text form field having the width of media query dot of context dot size dot width minus let's say 200, not 200, let's say 150. Okay, so because we have to make another widget that row, so that will be icon button, and here we have to give the onPress method that will be called when we click on that button, and here we have to make an icon. The icon will be of the search. Okay, so here we have to give the color of colors dot black, and we have to give the icon size of it. So the size I prefer 25. So code reformat is done, and what we have to do, we have to make a hot reload. So here that it is showing the text form field size is getting very much small. So what I can do, instead of the 150, I write 80, and here the main axis alignment dot page between, so that it will be looking cool. Okay, now what we have to do, we have to paste any link here so that we can try with that. Just like here I opening my website. Okay, so if I search here Samarpan Dasgupta in the Google, so my portfolio link will become at first. So if I want to open my website in my Flutter project, so how should we do that? So what we have to do, our agenda is we have to copy that link here. We have to give the link here and then click on that search button. When we click on that search button, that will be opened in the browser as well. Okay, so that's our first agenda. So let's see how can we do that. So that's my website URL. Now what we want, when we click on that, that website will be open in the phone browser. Okay, we come here under that icon, and here I make another method to deal with that onPress method when we click on that search button. So open link in browser. Okay, so I just make a method here, and before writing anything in that, if we want to take that text under that text field, we have to use a text field controller. Okay, so what I have to do, just at the top of that class we have to write text editing controller, and here I write text controller. Okay, and that will be text editing controller. Okay, here we copy the text controller, and here under that text form field there is a parameter named controller, and we give that text controller. So text controller, what we'll do, it will be helpful to take that content under a text field or editing some content from the outside method in that text field. How can we get that text that we written in the text field? When we click on that button, search button we can get from that controller. Okay, so I just copy that controller, and as I declare text editing controller just after that, so what I have to do, I just remove that link, and here I want to just take the text what will be written in that text field. So here I write text controller dot text, and here if I write here print and just print that whatever is written in that text field. If I hot reload it here, and here if I write here, so guys, I just copy that manual debugging file from the old project. Now what I have to do, under that library folder I open in that Explorer, and here under that library folder I make a new folder here name as debug, and under that debug folder I just paste that file manual debug.dot that we created in our last project that we used in the last couple of videos. Okay, so in that debug I use that manual that the login code. So in case you don't see the last couple of videos, that project that the code link is available in the GitHub, the link in the description, check it out. You can take the copy from there, or if you have followed the last couple of videos, that the login code you must know, so you can copy from your own code as well. Okay, now I just close that, and here instead of the print I write login.info and that text. Okay, now in the terminal if I make a hot reload here, and if I click on the search button, here you can see that link is that the data is showing that we written in the text field. Okay, now we want to that open that URL in the browser as well. So how can we do that? So you have to import the URL launcher package, so that the package URL launcher.dot. Now we have to check if we can launch that URL or not. For that we have to write that can launch URL, and we have to write URI dot parse, and that will be the text. We have to write here async, and here what we have to write await. Okay, that will be written true or false if that can be open in the browser. So what we have to write here, we have to write here launch URL, and here we have to write the URL, or we can write here one thing, launch URL string, and here we have to write text. Okay, now if I make a hot reload here, after that if we click on here, let's see what it will do. When we click on here, that is showing component name for https someone is null. So can launch URL sometime giving you a problem. So what we have to do, instead of that can launch URL, we can do that using try catch block, so with the exception handling actually. Okay, so that there will be no problem of can launch URL, because can launch URL sometimes give problem due to the configuration, and sometimes you can't figure it out. Okay, so error in launch URL, so that will be in that way. And if I make a hot reload here, and if we click on that, you can see that the website is opening in our app browser, in our phone browser. So that's my website, it is opening in the phone browser. Okay, so it is fully functional, just like in the website, that will be totally working fine. Okay, you can be confused that why there is no search bar when that will be open in the phone browser, that will be not giving you any browser search bar, that will be open in the browser actually. Okay, so here in that way you can open any link in the browser as well. Okay, so let's get back to our app. Okay, and here. Okay, now what we want to do, we want to load that website that is opening in the app browser. We want to load that website in our app. So that for that what we have to do, under that column, so I make it fold, and here what we have to do, we have to give a page here at first, and give here the height of 20. We make here elevated button, and that will be, I will write later. And here in that child we have to write here load data. Okay, and that will be style of text style, and font size of 16, that will be enough, and color will be by default color. Let's see what that will show. So if I make a hot reload here, I make the font size 18 so that it will be looking good in the video itself. Okay, now what we want to do when we click on that load data, that will be the website totally getting load in our app, not in the browser. So for that, what we have to do, we have to make a new screen here, and that screen name will be WebView screen dot. Here what we have to do, we make the material app, and here we make a stateful widget. The stateful widget load web content. Okay, now here what we have to do, we have to write scaffold. The background will be colors dot white, and having a body that will be containing the width of screen. So I not write it manually, I just go to the main screen, and in the main screen under that container I just copy that two line, and in the web view I just paste it here. After that, in that child we have to import a package at first, so that will be WebView Flutter that we install. So we have to write here WebView Flutter and WebView Flutter dot. Here what we have to do, we have to write here that WebView was previously activated, but in the latest version it is deactivated, so we have to write WebView widget. Okay, under that WebView widget we have to write the controller itself. So here we have to define our WebView controller. We can define it at the top. We write here WebView controller, and that will be a controller itself. So that will be WebView controller, and we have to write here its properties. So set JavaScript mode, and that the JavaScript mode dot unrestricted. So in that two dot, after that function we can define the properties. Okay, set background color, we write colors dot white, and here we have to write set navigation delegate, and here we have to write navigation delegate, and here on progress, here that will be the progress will be showing that how much progress it is required, or how much progress is remaining to load that web page, because loading that web page it needs some amount of time. Okay, login.info, and progress is, and that's the progress here. Okay, we have to write on navigation request. Here in that navigation request, that will be taking return value of navigation decision. Navigation request, what we have to do, we have to take a parameter that the link we want to open. So I take here the parameter as link, and I make it as a required parameter here. Okay, as we seen in one of the video of that tutorial. So okay, we have to write navigate. There is other method, we will see it later. Okay, now after that set navigation delegate, we have to write another property of WebView controller. So that is load quest. To now provide a URI, not URL. So how can you convert a URL to URI? So you have to write URI dot parts, and we have to provide that the link is coming in that widget tree. Okay, so widget dot link. Okay, I just copy from up to that controller. Okay, now I can do one thing, I just make that controller as nullable and cut that, and I write here controller, and here in the ini state I make a initialize method. Under that initialize method, what I have to do, I just write that in that way, and after that we have to make say state. As we know, in the updation of any stateful widget we use say state. So that controller we are defining as nullable. Under that initiate method we are calling initialize, and in the initialize method we are initializing the value of that WebView controller variable, that is controller, and of that WebView controller with that two dot we are setting the property of WebView controller, so that that data or that configuration will be loaded in the WebView widget. Okay, so now what we have to do, we have to write that controller here. Okay, but the problem is that that is nullable. So what I have to do, here I have to write if controller is null, we have to do one thing, otherwise that will be shown here. So when that will be coming here, we are sure that that will be not be null. So we can we can instruct Flutter that you can consider it as a non-nullable value at this point of time. But if it is null, what we have to do, we also do we can show a full screen loading. So if I make a code reformat, and okay, here if that controller value is coming null, we will show a circular progress bar, and if it is not showing null at this point of time, so we are writing controller with that WebView widget controller, and we are telling Flutter with that you can consider as not nullable at that point of time. Okay, now what we have to do, we have to call that load web content from the main screen. So what we have to do, in that elevated button, I not make any separate widget for that. Here I write navigator dot of context dot push, and here I have to write material page route, and here in that way, and load web content, and here I have to write text controller dot text. Okay, now here I make it constant so that warning will be removed, and if I make a code reformat, and if I make a hot reload in our Flutter app, now let's see what happens when we click on that load data. Progress is showing. So after, as you can see here, if you come here, the progress is showing how much progress is doing to load that website, and after that progress is done successfully, after that progress is 100 successfully, the website is now getting loaded in our Flutter application. That's the beautiful thing, and you can totally experience that website. Make sure that website is responsive so that it will be looking good, otherwise that will be loaded but the experience will be not good. So as this website is responsive, it is looking very much good in the mobile application as well. Okay, so here if I scroll from the physical device, so here you can see it is loading very much cool in that way. And all the website content, just like if I go here, and here if I see here under that certificates, so all the contents is loading very much easily. Okay, even if I go here in the about section, it is showing very much easily. So in that way we can load that content in our app, the web content in our app. Even you, in that way you can load any YouTube video in your Flutter application. That's a very much good thing. If we come back here, now what we have to do here, just give a link here, just like https flutter.dev. If I click on that search bar, that will be open in the browser. Okay, that website data will be open in the browser. So if I click on here, you can see that link is opening in the browser, and that Flutter home screen. Okay, so that is opening in the browser, not in the app. But if we want to load that website data in the app, we have to click on that load data button. So here you can see that app is now loading in our Flutter application, not in the browser. So that's the two different thing. Okay, we can open our mail, so from that URL launcher. So let's see how we can do that. For that, I just copy that things, and after that comma we just write here, and here I have to write open email. Always wrapped that URL launcher code with try catch block, because maybe if there is any error come, that will be getting catch. So login.error and open email error, that will be show here. Now in the try block, what we have to do, we have to write email URI scheme mail to, and path. Here we have to give the path of the email, just like my email. We have to call our favorite method launch URL, and here we have to pass email URI, because as that variable is already a URI, email URI is already a URI, we don't have to pass it to the URI. Okay, now what we have to do is make a hot reload here, and if I click on that open email, as you can see that email is already showing here. Okay, so in that way you can open the email from that URL launcher. Even you can open your phone dialer with a particular number using the URL launcher. Let's see how we can do it. So what I can do, I just copy that stuff again, and after giving comma I just paste it here, and here I write open in caller. Okay, here I have to write here under that open in color button on press method tel, that means telecom, and here we have to provide in the path, we have to provide the number if you want to open in the dialer. So I give a random number here, so that's not a valid number. So if I make a hot reload here and open, if I click on that open in color, you can see the two options is coming. So by default I choose phone, and you can see in that phone color dialog that the number we just give here hard coded, it is showing here. So if you want, you can call from here as well. Even what we can do in that tail, if I write here SMS and if I write here send SMS, so the SMS app will be open. So if I make a hot reload here and here I click on send SMS, the two SMS app is showing. I choose one, and the SMS app of that particular number is already open. Here you can send the SMS as well. So that's all for today. Hope you love this video. If you love this video, don't forget to like, comment, share, and don't forget to subscribe this channel. The next video of this series is coming very soon. Have a nice day. Bye.